The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Pauline Berzosa. A Senate committee will open an executive session to further investigate Bamban Mayor Alice Go's alleged connections to Pogos. Senate Committee on Women, Children, Family Relations, and Gender Equality Chairperson Risa Ontiveros said security and intelligence agencies are going to be invited. It will happen during the Senate's Sine Die adjournment. Meanwhile, Civic Leader Teresita Ang-See expressed concern on how the Senate hearing on Go can affect the welfare of the Filipino-Chinese community. In response, Ontiveros said the hearing is not an attack on Filipinos of Chinese heritage. She also emphasized that the hearing is about national security and the regulation of Pogos. Civic Leader Teresita Ang-See criticizes the Senate's handling of the investigation into Bamban Mayor Alice Go. Here's an excerpt from her interview on Storycon.
I think we're going a bit too far. The Senate investigation is going a bit too far.
Yeah, I don't think you should say that I'm giving a different voice. I think many of my comments are echoed among many of my friends, no, na bakit lumihis yung investigasyon sa Senado. I mean, it started with an investigation with Pogo, which we really welcome. I was a resource person in many hearings in the Senate where I asked that we should really totally ban Pogo. But now, naging sarsuela. Suddenly, it went into talking about her lifestyle and then asking her to speak in Mandarin and in Hokkien. What for? Matata siya mag-Tagalog. Ang galing ng Tagalog niya, ng Filipino niya. But you are questioning if she is Filipino or not. Ngayon, pinagsalita ninyo ng Hokkien at Mandarin. Kung matata siya mag-Hokkien at Mandarin, sasabihin ko, conclude ba ninyo na Chinese siya? Which government agency made the mistake, empowered her to have it easy and have her late registration and everything, no? Bakit hindi doon naka-focus, no? Ang focus ninyo ngayon, eto na nga, yung masalimuot na buhay ni Alice Go.
Etong investigation kay Alice Go, it comes on the heels of the investigation as well on Chinese students in Cagayan. And you also spoke out about that issue. Are you feeling a growing sense of xenophobia in the Philippines?
Not just xenophobia, I think it is a deliberate anti-China and anti-Chinese narrative, no, that is being peddled on the public, on the unknowing public. Mga students daw as spies. Sa Pilipinas, kahit nga first family, walang maitago na sekreto. Anong ispriya ang gagawin nila doon sa sinasabi nila EDCA site? Ikaw nga, Ami, tsaka ako, kung papasok doon, makakapasok tayo ng ganun lang. And then students, ang kawawa doon, you penalize the students.
The Davao Police Regional Office defends its move to relieve 35 police officers in Davao City due to alleged drug-related killings in the city. In an interview with The Big Story, Davao PRO spokesperson Police Major Catherine De La Rey said the administrative relief is not a penalty. She explained that it was done for a fair and transparent investigation. Davao City Mayor Baste Duterte earlier condemned this move and said it was an abuse of authority. De La Rey said the relieved police officers can be reassigned to Davao City if they were found to be non-culpable to the drug-related killings.
The administrative relief is not a penalty to them, but only for the ongoing motu proprio investigation so that it would be fair and transparent, and then mawala po yung doubt that they can influence any witnesses or tamper any evidences. Pag ma-find naman po na non-culpable po sila dun sa ongoing investigation, they could again be reassigned to their previous assignment.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. watching One News Now. I'm Pauline Verzosa. Over 2,000 people in Papua New Guinea were buried because of a massive landslide. The landslide occurred on the early hours of Friday in the 6 remote villages in Enga province. Most residents in those villages were asleep when the landslide happened. The country's National Disaster Center believes over 670 residents died from the landslide, but so far, rescuers have only found 5 bodies. 12 people traveling on a Qatar Airways flight from Doha to Ireland were injured due to turbulence. Passengers said the incident lasted less than 20 seconds and occurred during food and drink service. The flight, though, landed safely and as scheduled at Dublin Airport on Sunday. Qatar Airways did not directly comment on the turbulence, but said an internal investigation is underway. Today, we celebrate the National Flag Day, and as we know, a country's flag is a symbol of its identity, which is why it is given great respect. But how is it made in today's time? Mobile Journal Mary Mon Reyes has the story.
Tuwing Independence Day, isa sa mga sagisag na tinatanghal natin ay ang watawat ng Pilipinas. Pero ano nga ba ang kwento sa likod nito? Matitingkad na kulay pula at asul, mga lubid na pantali, at mga kabinet na puno ng tela. Ito ang sumalubong sa atin nang sinilip natin ang isa sa pinakamatagal nang gumagawa ng watawat ng Pilipinas dito sa Santa Cruz, Manila. At dahil National Flag Day din ngayong May 28, mas ramdam nila ang kahalagahan ng pagbibigay respeto sa bansa gamit ang sagisag na ito.
May ibang bansa pa tayo na kumukuha o bumibili din dito. Mula Luzon hanggang Mindanao po, meron kaming sinusuplayan dyan. O meron po tayong mga Navy, Coast Guard, PNP po, estudyante, teacher. Sa World Health, dito rin po sila, ang World Health. Munisipyo, ganun po.
103 years nang gumagawa at nagpeprepara ng mga watawat ang New International Flag House. Si Don Pablo de Jesus Tan Gatue, na isang flag officer daw ng Katipunan ng mga alagad ni Bonifacio, ang founder nito. Siya rin daw ay nanilbihan bilang mason sa Knights of Rizal, na pinaniniwala ang pinag-ugatan ng serbisyong inialay ng Flag House hanggang sa kasulukuyan. At nabigyan nga tayo ng pagkakataon na masilip ang mabusising proseso ng pagtatahi ng watawat ng Pilipinas. So dito, ginagawa yung pinaka-magic ng pagtahi, pagburda, hanggang sa mabuo yung pinaka-watawat ng Pilipinas. Gumagawa rin sila ng international flags, pwede rin mga sagisag ng kongregasyon, associations o mga grupo. Mula sa pag-stencil nga hanggang doon sa pagtatabas ng 3 stars in the sun natin, plus yung puting triangulo na makikita sa ating bandera, ipapasa naman ito para pagsamahin na ng kulay pula at kulay asul na tela. At pagkatapos niyan, doon na natin makikita ang kabuuan ng isang watawat ng Pilipinas. Chika naman ni Ate Erlinda na 3 dekada ng mananahi rito, halos 100 mahigit na ang kanilang ginagawang watawat ngayong taon. 10 silang resident mananahi. Abutin man daw sila ng gabi, ay hindi sila napapagod na gawin ang handcraft na ito.
Maramihan kasi po kami. Nauubusan na po kami ng mga stock po sa dami ng customer. By order po yung mga ginagawa na namin.
Ang mga telang ginagamit, nylon, cotton o satin. Nakadepende na lang ang presyo sa budget, sukat, pati kung indoor o outdoor ilalagay ang watawat. Hindi rin basta-basta ang paggawa ng watawat dahil dumadaan para ito sa testing at certification mula sa National Historical Commission. Sinisilip nito ang purity, endurance at kalidad ng tela. Pati ang kulay nito ay sinusuri ng mabuti para maging accurate at naaayon sa official standards. Ayon kay First Lieutenant Oxiano Rex na bumiyahe pa mula sa Mindanao, hindi lang ang mga naka-uniforme ang dapat magbigay pugay sa watawat, kundi ang kahit na sinong Pilipino sa isip, dugo o puso.
It symbolizes all. For what we are now, the Philippines is all, and what we are now, the Army, we are representing. Pag sinabing Pilipino, matik na Philippine flag agad yung kailangan may isip natin.
Sa bawat watawat na kanilang ginagawa, isinasapuso raw nila ang ating pagiging Pilipino. Kaya kung mayroong kayong mga watawat ng Pinas sa inyong tahanan, ingatan po ito at pahalagahan. Mobile Journal Mary Mon Reyes po, hatid ang muka ng balita.
And those are the top stories of the hour. I'm Pauline Verzosa. We are One News.